Pump or dumped? It's the ultimate question that every investor and trader asks when they come across a relatively new or hyped cryptocurrency like EDEN coin. And today we're diving deep into whether EDEN is a hidden gem ready for a massive pump or just another speculative bubble on the verge of a dump. To understand EDEN coin's true nature, we need to peel back the layers of hype and marketing and explore the fundamentals, the tokenomics, the technology, the community, the historical market performance, and most importantly, the psychology of investors who are fueling its price action. EDEN coin emerged into the crypto scene at a time when narratives about decentralized ecosystems, fair distribution, and community governance were gaining traction. And from the very beginning, its branding positioned it as more than just another digital token. It was marketed as a movement toward building an Eden in the digital financial landscape, a utopia where investors could escape the volatility and manipulation seen in other coins. But the reality is that every coin, regardless of its vision, eventually gets caught in the same tug of war between speculation and utility. Let's start with the basics. EDEN coins, tokenomics. The circulating supply, maximum supply, and emission schedule play a massive role in determining whether the coin has long-term sustainability or whether it is destined to face hyperinflationary sell pressure. If EDEN coin has a cap supply and clear deflationary mechanics, such as token burns or staking rewards that reduce circulating tokens, then it builds a narrative of scarcity, which can lead to price appreciation over time. On the other hand, if the tokenomics allow unlimited minting or are heavily weighted toward early investors and insiders, then we may be looking at a coin that is vulnerable to pump and dump cycles because a small group of large holders, often called whales, can unload their bags on retail traders chasing hype. This is why one of the first things smart investors examine in EDEN coin is the distribution of tokens. How much is in the hands of developers, early backers, and the treasury versus how much is freely floating in the market. If EDEN coin is decentralized in distribution, that builds confidence. If it is concentrated, that raises red flags. Now let's talk about the technology. A pump is often fueled by hype around innovations, and EDEN coin claims to be tied to creating decentralized ecosystems that enhance fairness, community control, and maybe even gaming or metaverse integration depending on its roadmap. If the project actually delivers unique blockchain features such as ultra-fast transaction speeds, energy efficiency, interoperability with other chains, or real-world application, its value proposition becomes more sustainable, meaning a pump may evolve into a long-term growth trajectory instead of just a speculative spike. However, if the technology is vague, lacks updates, or is simply a clone of other projects with a rebranded name, then it becomes clear that the coin might be heavily reliant on marketing rather than substance, which often leads to eventual dumps once the hype dies down. Another factor is partnerships and ecosystem development. Does EDEN coin have backing from real-world companies, DeFi protocols, or integration into major exchanges? A coin with liquidity and accessibility on Tier 1 exchanges like Binance or Coinbase naturally attracts institutional and retail interest, while a coin limited to smaller decentralized exchanges is more prone to volatile pump and dump action by coordinated groups. Looking at price action, EDEN coin has likely already experienced periods of volatility, green candles followed by sharp corrections. This is typical for new altcoins, and in crypto, such behavior is often amplified by social media hype, Telegram groups, and influencers who push narratives. One thing investors should watch for is whether EDEN coin's price movements are organic, with steady growth and healthy retracements, or artificial, with extreme spikes followed by total collapses. A healthy coin has gradual adoption, increasing volume over time, and new wallets consistently holding tokens, while a pump and dump coin shows sudden volume bursts followed by long periods of decline. Historical charts can reveal whether EDEN coin is building higher lows, which indicates strength, or collapsing below key support levels, which suggests weakness. Another dimension to consider is the community. Pump and dump coins often rely on aggressive hype communities that flood Twitter, Discord, or ticked with bullish messages while discouraging criticism. A genuine project, on the other hand, fosters open discussion, transparency from developers, regular updates on GitHub or Medium blogs, and a clear roadmap. EDEN Coin's community strength will be one of the biggest indicators of whether the coin can sustain growth or whether it's just a speculative playground. If the developers are anonymous and fail to communicate, that's another red flag. If they are public, accountable, and deliver on promises, that builds trust. From an investment perspective, deciding whether to buy into EDEN Coin depends on your risk tolerance and your time horizon. For short-term traders, EDEN Coin could present opportunities to ride pumps if you can identify early momentum before the crowd rushes in. However, this strategy is extremely risky, as mistiming the exit could mean holding the bag during a dump. Long-term investors should instead focus on fundamentals. Does EDEN Coin solve a real-world problem? Is the development team competent? And is the community growing sustainably? If yes, then accumulating during dips could be a strategy. If not, then it may be safer to avoid altogether. We also need to place EDEN Coin in the larger macroeconomic and crypto market context. If Bitcoin and Ethereum are in a bullish phase, altcoins like EDEN tend to benefit disproportionately as investors seek higher returns in smaller cap tokens. In bullish seasons, almost anything can pump, including coins with weak fundamentals, simply because liquidity floods the market. In bearish seasons, however, weak projects collapse quickly, and only the strongest survive. Thus, EDEN Coin's success isn't just about its own merits but also about broader market cycles. An investor betting on EDEN must consider whether we are at the beginning of a new bull run or approaching the exhaustion of one. Risks are crucial to outline. First, regulatory risks. If EDEN Coin has features that attract scrutiny, such as being classified as a security or offering staking rewards that resemble interest, it could face restrictions in certain countries. Second, security risks. Has EDEN Coin's smart contract been audited? Hacks and exploits are rampant in crypto, and a single vulnerability could wipe out millions in value overnight. Third, liquidity risks. If EDEN Coin is not listed on major exchanges, large holders could manipulate the price easily due to thin order books. Fourth, psychological risks. Many investors get trapped in fear of missing out during pumps and panic sell during dumps, leading to losses. EDEN Coin, like many altcoins, will test emotional discipline. On the flip side, potential rewards should also be highlighted. If EDEN Coin truly delivers on building a decentralized, user-owned ecosystem with strong partnerships, it could evolve into a top-tier altcoin. Early adopters in such projects often see exponential returns, especially if adoption spreads globally. The branding of EDEN itself as an easing paradise, fairness, and new beginnings resonate with retail investors who are tired of scams and rug pulls. If the developers position EDEN as a safe haven in the chaotic crypto world, they could attract not only speculative traders but also real users seeking utility. In summary, is EDEN Coin a pump or a dump? The truth is, it could be both at different times. Like many cryptocurrencies, EDEN is subject to hype-driven pumps followed by profit-taking dumps. For traders, the key is timing. For investors, the key is fundamentals. If you believe in the technology, the team, and the community, then EDEN Coin could be a worthwhile speculative bet for the future. If you're skeptical, then it might be safer to view it as a short-term trade rather than a long-term hold. The crypto market is full of opportunities but also full of traps, and EDEN Coin sits at that crossroads where vision and speculation collide. Ultimately, whether EDEN Coin becomes a lasting paradise or just another mirage in the desert of crypto will depend on execution, adoption, and the ability to withstand both external market pressures and internal challenges. As an investor, the best approach is caution combined with curiosity. Never invest more than you can afford to lose, always research beyond the hype, and remember that in the world of crypto, every potential paradise carries the shadow of risk.